Hello, for some reason, the game keeps disappearing from my taskbar. I muted it because that music is very copyrighted, so I don't want the stream to get taken down by YouTube. Oh, let's see. See if I can get the game back. It's still there. Expand. Bring to front? Okay. Whoa! Okay. Whoa. Why is my model's head doing that? Okay, let me fix that. Okay, finally. Why does it say CC disabled? Oh. There, the captioning turned itself off. So now it should be on. Hello, everyone. So, God, having the game in full screen means that whenever I click onto something else, it's screen goes away. Hello, Ness. Hi. So I've been gone for a month. Disability stuff, you know, and I was busy with Congress too. It was tiring. I decided to, I noticed that TikTok was sending me notifications that I could still go live, even though they were supposed to have taken that away from me because I only streamed once. But apparently it works. I'm live on TikTok, so let's see if that does anything. What else? I don't have the TikTok Live Studio application on because it sucks. It's very laggy and it froze my computer every time I try to launch it. So I'm streaming through OBS. I have a stream key that I'm using. But other than that, we I believe last time we left off, I don't remember. Hopefully it doesn't have technical difficulties. It already froze OBS, I think. I had to restart, but I hope it's working now. Okay, let's see. Where are we in this chapter 5? That means nothing to me. Where did we leave off? We were in the hospital. Yes, we were in the hospital. Scary things were happening. Delusions. We went to an area full of computers and monitors that were security cameras, we noticed, were being placed at every scene where a sumo sticker was. And they were monitoring to see who was reacting bizarrely to the stickers because that would indicate that they have some sort of they might be able to do something I know what that something is, but I don't remember the event that. Hello, Dino Sakura, 20 centimeters. How you doing? Thank you for stopping by. And then we escaped. And now we're talking to Kunosato, who is friends with Kurisu from Steins Gate, which is cool. Hello, Stenonauts. How you doing? How you stenoing? Okay. I was hoping that we'd hit like some dialogue that would clarify what part of the story we're on right now, but no, they're just like sighing from exhaustion. Steins Gate? Did you manage to play the rest of Steins Gate after I just dropped it? Have so much dang homework today. Aww. You could chill out on the stream for a little while you're doing your homework, if that doesn't distract you, I mean. I guess we're at her house. Sounds good to me too. I feel a little less a little better about the fact that my house is in a similar state to Kunosato-san's. Do you need a subscription from me? I mean, if you want to subscribe and catch the rest of the streams, that'd be cool. I watched the Steins Gate anime after watching you stream the game on Twitch. Did you enjoy it? The anime does leave some pretty cool things out, but overall, it's a really good adaptation. Some scary things you don't see in an anime that I noticed. It's not like they aren't like super important to the plot. It just really expands the story and some of the character motivations and stuff.
Yeah,
the outside wasn't much better, but looking inside, it was hard to believe that there were still apartments this dumpy in Shibuya. You subscribed? Thank you! I appreciate that. The same was true of everything else in the room. Everything in the apartment was the cheapest kind you could buy. The only thing that was worth anything was the computer.
Huh?
Whoa! I pushed Ito out of the way and ran over to the computer. The monitor was still on, and the page there was one I'd seen many times. Shibuya News. And it wasn't the display version of the page that we'd seen so many times. The page was in the process of being edited. Kei-san! So that was it. I thought I'd heard her voice somewhere before. Her voice was just too different from the gentle Kei-san that we were used to hearing. But that voice was, without a doubt, Kei-san's. Maji? Ito was clearly pretty excited too. Of course he was. Kei-san was someone we both admired. She was the ultimate right-sider. Since even I admitted it, that meant she had to be at the top of her class. I never thought I'd be able to meet her like this though. But I can't say I'd ever imagined Kei-san having a weird personality like this. Kunosato-san, the girl who'd been insulting us the whole evening, was the same person as the gentle Kei-san that we knew from Shibuya News. Which was the real one? I didn't know. And why had Kei-san brought us to her room? I thought I'd remembered her saying she'd decide if she could use us later. We're not making any choices. We're just gonna go. I looked over and saw something strange in the corner of the room. The only assumption I could make when I laid eyes on it was that it was a sword. But I wasn't sure if most people who saw it would think that. Its design was complicated and frankly unrealistic. For some reason, looking at it made me feel uneasy. It made me feel really bad, actually. What was that? If someone told me it was for cosplay, I'd probably believe them. If nothing else, it didn't match the image I had of the person in front of me. Not the Kei-san I knew from Shibuya News, or the Kunosato-san who'd been cursing me out the whole night. Does she maybe have a third identity? Maybe she was a famous cosplayer. Or maybe she was a toy artisan who made life-size weapons. Maybe she was an otaku who collected swords like this. Either way, it felt like a bad idea to mention it. Best to just ignore it. Best to pretend I never saw it. Anyway, it seemed like Kunosato-san knew something. So I'm looking for my TikTok live. How do we get to it? Music sounds relaxing and creepy. Oh yeah. What was she thinking? Why was she holding out on telling us anything? Does she enjoy seeing us confused? Does she enjoy knowing things that we didn't? Was she trying to assume a bigger role in the story? Why did characters like this always act so arrogant when you saw them in movies and novels? Who the hell do you think you are? Just give us the damn information already. That's the whole point of your character, right? Are you trying to drag out the mystery so you get more screen time? You're just a side character, so know your damn role. He got so mad. For no reason. Why are you so angry? There was no way I could actually say that to her. Yeah, she's intimidating. He's such a pipsqueak. Such a dweeb. So I just had to wait for her to start talking. She's like, oh, you're always walking around with the silliest expression on your face. You're always looking so confused, like you know absolutely nothing about what's going on around you. How about you start paying attention? Crap, she's really scary. Is the Kei-san I loved only an image I created for myself? And is this girl who she really is? Kunosato-san stood by the wall and glared at me, oblivious to how I felt. Huh? Noryokusha. It was so sudden that I didn't know what I'd been asked. Power? Who? Me? Oh, I just remembered that I set the stream to the wrong game because the application that I'm using for the stream key, it would not let me set it to the correct game. So sorry. I'm playing Chaos Child. I'm not playing solo leveling or live. I think I clicked live. If that's a game, I'm not playing it. I'm playing a different game. Sorry. He should be more suspicious about the fact that so many coincidences just happened to happen, and that he was able to just wander into a location that explains a lot of things that's going on in Shibuya. He should be more curious.
隠すな。お前はそれを能力でやってのけたんだ。
だから違います。
監視モニターがいきなり起動したのだってそうだ。
What is she talking about? I don't have any kind of power. And hey, Kei-san, I respected you, so try not to disappoint me so much.
大体何を根拠にそんなことを。
地下施設にお前たちが潜入しているのを見つけたときにな。お前かそっちの彼か。どちらかが能力者じゃないか。
Kunosato-san pointed at me and Ito in turn.
俺もすか？
ああ。だがお前の方はその後何の反応も示さなかったからな。除外した。
反応
？11番目のロールシャッハ画像を見た時の反応だよ。
The 11th Rorschach. Rorschach, my bad. Kunosato-san's deep, dark eyes were peering into me.
だが宮代拓、あの画像を見た時、お前は激しく動揺した。
He had a delusion that I had to like move off screen because I thought it was way too graphic of him staring at his friends while their brains were exposed, and then his brain was exposed and they were operating on him, and then it was nasty. It had the grossest noises.
いや、だってあんな気色悪い絵ですよ。当たり前じゃないですか。
お前のはそういう反応とは全く違う。あの画像を見たときにどう感じた？思い出して
The feeling I experienced when I'd seen the sumo sticker image came back to me. When I looked at it, all the hairs on my body stood on end, and I was attacked by nightmarish delusions from which there was no escape. It was so scary that I couldn't help but look away from it.
じゃあ、身の潔白を証明するためにもう一度見てみるか?
Kunosato-san turned toward her computer and opened up a folder. She watched my face carefully as she moved to click on an image inside the folder. Please don't! Don't do it! I don't want to hear any more nasty noises.
嫌です。やめてください。
I slowly sank to the floor and sat down, sweat pouring from my body. I looked away from the computer. I almost said computer. I didn't have the courage to look at that image again. いい加減にしてください. Sarika interrupted with a yell. It was the first time in ages that I'd heard her yell. It's a good thing I have my AirPods on in case gross noises come in. Ah. It is a good thing, because they were nasty. I looked up to see her standing between me and Kunosato-san with her hands on her hips.
一体何なんですか？特に超能力ってそのアニメや漫画みたいな話真面目にしてどうかしてますよ。
何？
おのえ。
タクは人が殺された場所とかでいっぱいあのシールを見てきてるんです。気持ちが悪くなるの当たり前じゃないですか。私だってラブホの時のことを思い出して吐いちゃいそうになることありますけどそんなくったらないことが証拠だって言うなら私にだって超能力があるってことになりますよね。
I mean, you don't wanna make yourself look suspicious too.
いや。
Why is she so
お前
certain?
は違う。
なんでですか?
Sarika pushed harder. Whenever she thought I was in trouble, she would sometimes turn into a completely different person. She would try to protect me, in a different way than Kurusu. It made me happy, and it made me feel better, but...
おのえ、ありがとう。けど、ちょっとだけ抑えてくれ。 いいから。本当にサンキューな。
There was no way I had any kind of psychic power, but I'd already suspected the powers like that were involved in this case somehow, so I wanted to hear what Kunosato-san had to say. Kunosato-san looked at me for a moment questioningly, and then sighed. Then she took out her phone and made a call. The person on the phone didn't seem very happy about it, but they eventually gave their approval. She nodded and hung up the phone, then spoke.
また出かけるぞ。まあ、今度は命の危険はないだろう。安心するがいい。
こんな時間によう来たの。まだ閉店時間までは間があるゆえ、ゆるりと過ごしていくがよい。
If it's not like an in-universe reference to like an in-universe anime or something, then what kind of reference is she? Because I have no clue. What is she dressing up as? It looks like a magical girl, maybe? Kunosato-san took me to Cafe Lax. We were taken to a big table by the window. Come to think of it, I had been here not that long ago. Last time it was to listen in on the conversation between Arimura Hinae and Shinjo-san. While I was thinking about that, the person Kunosato-san had called walked into the cafe. They seemed upset. Who is it? Eh? When I looked up and saw who was there, I gasped. Is it Arimura-san?
こんな時間によう来たの。ゆるりと過ごして。
Yeah, it is her.
用が済んだらすぐに帰りますから。
There's like a spot on my monitor. Okay. I'll be oh, my bad, she already read that.
遅かったな。
私にだって準備くらいあるんです。
Arimura Hinae is the girl I was just thinking about.
あれ？ひなちゃんだ。どうも。これってどういうことっすかね、先輩方。
知らねえって。
He's so confused. He's just in for the ride. I don't know either. What's she inviting Arimura here for? Because she's a human lie detector.
久野里さん、便利に使って巻き込むのはやめてほしいって言いましたよね。
互いに情報の提供をする。
そっちばっかり私を利用してるくせに。
いいから座れ。
Arimura sighed, glanced at us, and sat down with a frown on her face. There was an awkward moment after we ordered our drinks when no one spoke.
それで、
Once our drinks arrived, Arimura, of course, was the first one to speak up.
口で説明するよりも。
Why is this image so blurry? Was it like a larger image and then they just decided to zoom in on a certain part and it just lost all clarity? It's so pixelated. It really stands out.
まさか話したんですか？
利用価値がありそうだと判断した。
ほんと勘弁してほしいんですけど。
From the way they were talking, Arimura must have known about these quote-unquote powers as well. And very rare shot of the main character. We're looking at him. Show them. Wait, she can't mean...
嫌ですよ、めんどくさい。
宮代拓が能力者かどうか確証を得たい。
いや、だからですね。僕はそんな。
間違いなく能力者ですよ。
Arimura spoke as if it was the most normal thing in the world. Arimura. Oh, yeah. Yeah, they did. It was a larger image and they just zoomed in on one part. No wonder it was so blurry.
信じられないよ。
だから僕は知らないって。
なるほどね。知らないというのは本当みたいです。無自覚なんですね。
無自覚も何も、有村はなんでそんなこと言い切れるんだよ。
あれ、思い当たる節ありませんか？
そんなのあ
If
る
I
わ
had
け。
that kind of power, I would have used it for something.
でも自分がこうなってほしいと思ったところでいつも特別なことが起きたりしたでしょ。例えば例のラブホテルに先輩が潜入した時、あの時部屋には確かに鍵がかかっていたんですよ。なのに先輩はどうやって入ってきたんです？
嘘だ、鍵は開いてた。
いいえ、閉まってました。けどいきなり開いたんです。だよね、セリ。
Sedika hesitated for a moment, then looked at me.
確かにガチャって。
尾上。
ほら、それが宮代先輩の
My
能力です。
power? No way.
おそらく望んだように物体を動かす能力、いわゆるテレキネシス、あるいはサイコキネシスか。それを持っている。病院の地下施設にあんな簡単に侵入できたのも
本当かよ。
Ito was looking at me in shock.
いや、待ってくれ。違う。
He's reacting this way because he's so dead set on being normal. He doesn't want to be special. So hearing that he is in fact special is like it's the worst thing in the world to him. Sure, when I went into the psych ward in the underground lab, a lot of coincidences had happened all at once. Doors that would normally be locked weren't. And when I went down to the underground facility from the autopsy room, something got stuck and I was able to open the secret door. But
そんな特殊な能力なんて本当にあるわけ。
でもさ、宮代言ってたよな。今回の事件の鍵かもしれないって。
それはそうだけど。
Sure, I'd said that just a little while ago. But only after being told that I was a psychic did I finally understand. I hadn't really genuinely believed it. When I'd said it out loud, I'd acted like it was some brilliant theory, but in my mind, I'd still been treating it like fiction. I mean, just thinking about it realistically, how could I have something so crazy?
先輩、今から言う質問にすべていいえで答えてください。
Ah, human lie detector out.
は？なんだよいきなり。
いいから答えてください。いいですね。
I nodded, as it didn't seem like I was going to be given a chance to disagree.
自分のクラスの人間はバカばっかりだと思っている。
いいえ。
でも本当はその輪の中に入りたいと思っている。
いいえ。
一人でカラオケに行ったことがある。
いいえ。
一人でカラオケに行ったけれど一曲も歌ってはいない。
いいえ。
クルス先輩と一緒に暮らしていた時、クルス先輩のお風呂を覗いちゃったことがある。
I hope that's not true, you fucking perverts. That's your sister, asshole.
いいえ。
なるほど、わかりました。
I like that. I do like that. With him reacting to what she's saying. That's pretty nice. Arimura nodded and smiled. My bad.
わかったって何が？
まず最初の質問。宮代先輩はみんなバカばっかりだと思ってますね。
そんなことは。
Yes, it's true.
それから次。そうは言っても本当は寂しくて みんなの輪の中に入りたいと、そう思って
Oh,
ます。
she's just exposing him right now.
違う。僕は何の生産性もない会話になんて。
カラオケに一人で行きましたね。
それは新聞部の取材で行っただけだ。でも歌っては。
I mean, there's nothing wrong with going to karaoke by yourself. I mean, you go to the movies by yourself too. Treat yourself.
それは嘘です。
え？
本当は歌いました。
歌っ
Damn.
てない。
He doesn't want anyone to know that he sang a song by himself.
一曲だけですか？
だから歌ってないってば。
なるほど。一曲だけ歌ったんですね。
おい、宮代、本当か？お前あれだけ歌ってないって否定してたよな。
Look, he's a little bit of a liar. He lies. Tells some fibs, some tall tales, some fables, myths, stories. He's a storyteller. A storyteller in denial. Harimura, how the hell do you know this stuff? It seemed like it would be a waste not to, so I actually did sing one song. I mean, if you paid for the room, you might as well sing a song.
最後に、お
No.
風呂でクルス先輩を。
もういい、やめろ。
Oh, so it did happen. Aw, Serika's so disappointed in him. I'm disappointed too. Serika pushed down her ghetto froggy strap. It made a noise like the "you lose" buzzer on a game show. Ito looks pained in anguish. Is this a TV variety show or something?
違うんだ。あれはユードがいたずらして、今なら誰も入ってないって言うからドアを開けたら、それに慌てて目をつぶったから。
You better not just be putting the blame on your little brother. That better be true. Do you have any idea what hell I went through after that? Okay, I guess it's true. I mean, he's saying it to himself, so just remembering it terrifies me. Wait, no!
それが一体何だって言うんだ。
わかりませんか？今のが私の能力です。
え？
他人の口にした言葉が嘘か真実かわかる。それが私の能力なんです。
You can tell when someone's lying? And then I finally realized the way Harimura had acted and all the things she'd said.
言葉に出してもらってもいいですか？
Was that what that was about?
彼女の言ってること、
いや、ホットリーディングやコールドリーディングって可能性もあるし。
ホットリーディング？
つまり事前に調査して。後で自分で調べろ。
He said Google that. You wouldn't be able to say that at this time because Google's fucking broken.
ああ、もういい。
It's really irritating when I'm just trying to look up something said in a Congress hearing and Google's trying to summarize shit for me. Like, I don't want that. I want a direct source, okay? I need to make sure that this is correct because this is the court record. It can't be incorrect. Kunosato-san looked annoyed and bored as she watched our conversation.
あれを見せてやる。それが一番早い。
あれですか？
Take out your
こんな
sword.
ところで？
多分、宮代以外には見えないはずだ。
そうかもしれません。けど
Harimura looked toward the ground. Show me something? Wait, what is she gonna show me? She nodded reluctantly and then suddenly stood up in front of me.
宮代先輩、
何？
よく見ててください。
And then she lifted up her skirt. No, that's not what happened. What are you going to show me? I almost asked, but then I stopped. Suddenly, she stretched her right hand out to the side. She inhaled slowly, and then seemed to pull something out of the air. As I sat there astonished, she pulled something impossible out of empty air. It was warped, yet elegant. Ugly, yet fascinating. It was inorganic and organic at the same time. It was as if it contained every shape in the world. It was,
Ken?
Isn't this the same thing that Kunosato-san at her apartment? The shape was different, but it had the same terrible feeling to it. But Arimura had just pulled it out of thin air.
どうやったんだ?
Arimura looked unhappy as she saw my shock.
やっぱり見えるんですね。え？何の話？タクは。
ケンってなんだよ。
見えないのか。
Serika and Ito both shook their heads.
そんなバカな。
It was huge. How could they not see it? I quickly looked around the room, but no one else, not the customers or the employees, was looking at the thing in Arimura's hands. No, they couldn't see it.
これで決まりだな。
どういうことなんですか、これ。
今、有村ひなえが手にしているもの。それが能力者の証だ。ディソードと呼ばれている。
I'd heard her use that word before. I didn't realize that she was talking about this, though.
その状態のディソードは、能力者にしか目視できない。つまり、それが見えるお前は、間違いなく能力者という。
Kunosato-san's cold voice dropped even lower than usual.
でも僕、そんな能力なんて本当に使った覚えもないし。
でも事実だ。
I couldn't believe it. So much was going through my head that I couldn't think. I looked over at the D sword again. Arimura fiddled with it and snorted.
まあ、同じギガロマニアックス同士、もう少し仲良くしときますかね、先輩。
ギガロマニアックス。
I remembered Kunosato-san using that word before too.
我々は能力者のことをそう呼んでいる。ギガロマニ。
呼び方なんかどうでもいいです。それよりやっぱり信じられません。僕のそのサイコキネシスとかそんなの非科学的です。
ああ、サイコキネシスというのはお前がイメージしやすいようにそう言っただけだ。実際はもっと科学的な概念が存在する。
I looked at Arimura's sword skeptically. Scientific? That? It's magic!
ああ、無理ですよ、久野里さん。説明とかしてもさっぱりわかんないと思います。ちなみに、私は一つも理解できてません。
お前と一緒にすんな。僕はこれでも。
はいはい。
Damn it, she's pissing me off.
理解などしなくていい。ただ、最低限のことだけは覚えておけ。ギガロマニアックスの能力をカートゥーンに登場するような超能力と同じように使うな。そんな安易なものでも。
That's auto?
愉快なものでもない。
Wanted to see if they, Nah, there's nothing special there. Okay.
何が違うって言うんです？
ギガロマニアックスの能力とは、簡単に言えば、 自らの妄想を現実に変換する力だ。
妄想現実に
What's she
変換
talking about? That's not scientific at all. It's magic.
ディラックの海という言葉をまあ知らないだろうな。
It's some physics thing.
ディラックの海
Whoops. Seneca started to fidget on the sofa. She probably couldn't follow what we were talking about at all, but she could tell that I was nervous. Gotta go buy food for lunch? Bye bye!
確か量子
Hope
力
it's
学の中の
tasty. Thank you
概
for
念です
stopping
よね。
by. Yeah, quantum mechanics. I forgot the word.
ほう、驚いたな。一階の高校生が
She
知ってい
says
るとは。
that, but she's also wearing their school uniform. Oop, my bad. For some reason, a lot of the people in the Japanese internet loved relativity theory and quantum mechanics. Schrodinger's cat, for example, had been discussed so many times by now that it was considered an embarrassment to even bring it up. So I knew a little.
真空を負のエネルギーに満たされた空間だと定義するんですよね。で、そこをディラックの海って呼ぶ。
ああ、そうだ。ディラックの海はマイナスエネルギーに満ちた世界
I'm
という
also
こ
filled
と
with
だ。
negative energy. I keep accidentally. Kunosata-san looked at Arimura's hands as she held her D sword, and then Arimura smiled, a little wickedly.
で、そのなんとかの海とこの剣を使って妄想を現実にできるんですよ。リアルブートっていうらしいですけどね。
リアルブート。
ディソードは剣の形をしているが、実はただの武器じゃない。ディラックの海に干渉し、現実との間のパイプとなる端末だ。
They're also an excuse to make a really cool looking sword.
ギガロマニアックスがその端末を用いると、本来現実空間の中に存在できないはずの負のエネルギーを引き出すことができる。するとホールセオリーによるペアクリエーションで粒子と反粒子が生まれる。それがエラーとなって他人の脳のデッドスポットに影響を与えるんだ。
脳の
Arimura seemed to only half understand this stuff herself, but I was completely lost by this point.
デッドスポットというのは人間の脳における視覚野の視覚だよ。そこに影響を与えられるということは、つまり自分の妄想をそこへ送り込み、妄想通りのものを相手に見せられるということだ。しかも相手にとってそれは完全な現実として認識される。
でもそんなのただの幻覚じゃないですか。催眠術と同じですよ。
催眠術？そうか。じゃあその妄想を自分の周りの人間全員がリアルな現実だと共通認識してしまったらどうだ？
共通認識？
I mean, Kunosato, Arimura, and Miyashiro are all looking at this sword that doesn't exist and other people can't see it. So it kind of proves that.
そうだ。さらにそれが渋谷中の人間の共通認識になったら、そしてその共通認識が東京中の人間、日本中の人間、果ては世界中の人間にまで広がっていったとしたら、一体誰がそれを現実じゃないと否定できるんだ？
At that point, it's just reality.
それは
そうしたら妄想はすでに作り事でも幻覚でもなくなる。紛れもない現実と化すんだよ。だからそれはリアルブートと呼ばれている。
そんなバカな。だってそんなことで現実がねじ
I
曲げられ
brushed
る
my
なんて
head with my fingers, trying to make some sense out of all of this.
仮にいいですか？仮にですよ。僕がそのギガロマニアックスだったとして。だけど閉まってるドアの鍵を開けるとか、そんな風に妄想が物理現象にまで影響を与えるなんて不可能ですよ。
私たち含め研究者たちも当初はそう考え楽観視していた。
え？
物理現象すらねじ曲げるんだよ、ギガロマニアックスの妄想と。それによって共通認識化され
That's
た
pretty
現実
scary,
は
honestly. If someone told me this and it were actually true, that'd be really scary. I'd be scared.
だからこそそれはこの上なく危険なんだ。
I looked at Arimura's sword, then back at Kunosato-san. Arimura was still smiling as she held the sword in front of me. I couldn't tell if the light it gave off was holy or evil, but for a moment, it was so beautiful that I shivered. October 11th, 2015. Sunday. The town was filled with noise that threatened to swallow her whole. But that was just the way she wanted it. Shibuya was a town that accepted anybody and rejected everyone. It was the only place that would let her be a part of it now. She moved her legs forward, valiantly, amidst the hustle and bustle. Forward, forward. With each step she took, her face twisted with horrible pain. Or at least, that's how it seemed to her. She didn't know if the pain was actually appearing on her face. Her face was covered with scars and shielded by long hair that hid her hatred. But as she dragged her legs down the streets, no one in Shibuya stopped to look at her. She was grateful for that, but at the same time, she hated it. A flame burned within her womb. Her womb? Her uterus? She feels hatred in her uterus? How does that feel? It's just a flame, so her uterus must hurt like hell. It was a flame of hatred. She was nothing but hatred now. The businessmen who passed by her on the streets, the empty-headed students, the happy couples, the miserable-looking old people. She hated all of them. But she hated them most of all. She hated the ones who had abandoned her. She hated the ones who'd done this to her. If they hadn't abandoned her, this never would have happened. The hatred burned within her womb. Once again, how does that feel? Haunting words. One sentence horror story. No, she was the hatred. The power she'd gained that day, it was all for this. Only the joy of revenge drove her forward. Forward and forward. And then, she didn't notice that the people who passed by her turned back in surprise. She didn't realize it herself. But this woman was laughing. She was laughing so hard that anyone could hear her, like black smoke from a flame rising toward the sky. She raised her voice and laughed. Oh, ooh, ooh. It's another text exchange. Ami-chan, how goes it? Miyashiro, Max Katie says Miyashiro is awakening, not completely yet. Ami-chan says, what else? What? No! I can't believe that. Hold up. I have YouTube. I have the YouTube stream. I can go back to that and look at it. Okay. I have to go through the YouTube app. Mute myself. Change account. Okay. I've got it. It says, not completely yet. Ami-chan says, what else? Max Katie says, he seems to have finally remembered. Ami-chan says, their existence? Max Katie says, yes. Ami-chan then says, what of the sin he committed? Max Katie, not yet. Ami-chan, understood. It's almost the day of judgment. And that's it. October 12th, Monday.
おい、あれじゃね？ほら、今流行ってる。
マジで？やばくね？てか、流行るっておかしくね？呪われるんしょ？マジやばくね？
ほれ、一枚持ってこうぜ。
やばいってそれ、マジやばいって。
あ、先輩、あれ例のやつじゃないで
This
すか？
thing better be super interesting. Because otherwise, what are they talking about?
例のって？
Oh!
先輩知らないですか？歴史シー
What
ル。
did they say with the stimulus stickers? It's supposed to curse you, right? That's one of the rumors? Okay.
歴史シール？
いやいやいや、またまた。嘘っしょ？知ってて言ってるんしょ？
いや、マジで知らないって。
マジっすか？今めっちゃ流行ってるっすよ。
流行ってんの？あんな気持ち悪いのが？
いや、流行ってるってのとは違うか。ほら、例の連続殺人事件。あれの。
あのシールが？なんで？
なんでかは知らないっすけど、でもなんか意味あるんじゃないっすか？
歴史シールね。なんかそのまんますぎだろ。もっといいネーミングねえのかよ。
What other kind of name could they give that? I mean, they're literally, they look like sumo wrestlers and they're stickers.
ほら、ここにもあるじゃん、歴史シール。うわ、めっちゃ増えてんじゃん。てか、あんた何やってんの？これちょっと可愛くない？ほら、
She sounds like a pervert. I'm just saying, this lady sounds like a pervert. Some about the way that the lines are being voiced, perverted. Disgusting.
うっそ、可愛いとこマジウケるんだけど、どんな趣味よ？絶対これ流行るって、マジで。
No, I don't think anyone thinks that they're cute except for you.
それ近づけんのやめて。見てるとなんか気持ち悪くなんだよね。ほら、気持ち悪いっつってんじゃん。うそ、可愛いって。
There's two perverts now that think that the sumo stickers are cute.
あれ？それ何つけてるんですか？
あ、これ？ほら、例の歴史シール？おしゃれっしょ。
What did you put on? Why are they? This is weird. Before, basically no one was noticing that the sumo stickers were everywhere. And now everyone is very keenly aware and they're reacting bizarrely. They're even taking them off the walls and putting them on their bags? That's bizarre. Oh no.
いいですね、それ。
でしょでしょ？これ流行らそうよ。T シャツとかにでっかくプリントとか可愛くない？
They have a different definition of cute than I do. The word cute does not describe these stickers.
でも不謹慎とか言われそうじゃないですか？
ああ、不謹慎中とかうざいよね、マジで。でも大丈夫じゃない？
If we all wear them, suddenly it's gonna become very normal. So put them on your bags.
なんかグッズとか作ります？
いいね。ソックスとかさ。
Imagine walking around with like sumo sticker, t-shirt, pants, a little belt, maybe some earrings, a cute little beret, a bag, socks, shoes, just decked out in sumo sticker. That would be amazing to look at. Amazing in a derogatory way.
ちょい考えますか。どうしたん？
なんか焦げ臭くね？
ああ、ここあったらしいぜ。
What did? Yeah.
何が？
なんかほら、最近この辺で火つけて回ってるやついるらしいじゃん。連続放火？
ああ、なんか聞いたそれ。
それもほれ、あれのせいじゃねえの？呪いのシールとかって。
あれなんなのマジで。あれと一緒なんだろ？前のほら。
ニュージェネだろ？
そうそれ、ニュージェネ。あれの真似なんだろ
？Might be a good idea to just fucking leave Shibuya right now.
このように今回の事件の日付はすべてニュージェネレーションの狂気と呼ばれる6年前の事件と一致しております。そこにどのような関連があるのかが注目されているわけですが、これについてはいかがでしょう？
そうですね。関連があるのはほぼ間違いないでしょうね。ただ現時点で全ての事件が同一犯であると決めつけるのはまだ時期尚早ではないかと思います。
それはどうしてでしょう？
現場に残されていたという歴史シールは渋谷の街中のどこにでもあるという話ですし、入手するのは比較的簡単なんですね。したがって何者かが同一犯の犯行とみなすために現場に残したという可能性も
That's a possibility, yeah.
その場合はやはり捜査の混乱を狙ったということでしょうか？
そういうことになりますね。特に今のようなネット社会ではそうした情報は早く出回りますし、騒ぎに乗じた便乗殺人ということもないとは言い切れない。
Sorry, Twitch, about the ad break. Don't worry, it's only 90 seconds. I'll continue though.
まだまだ謎の多い事件ですね。こちらの事件に関しては後ほど改めましてたっぷりと検証していきたいと思います。さて次のニュースはこちらも東京、渋谷ですね。連続放火事件のニュース
I
です。
didn't know that you could have special characters and usernames on TikTok. Interesting. Oh, chapter 6! The Resistance 1. Resistance of the Looming Past. What is there? Okay, let's do a save. And, what's it called? A stream marker for myself. Now let's continue. October 12th, Monday.
しかし信じられないな。まさかAH 東京総合病院でそんなことが。
Shinjo Takeshi frowned as he leaned back into the sofa inside the messy office. The Freesha Credit Bureau. Oh, it says Furisha, I think. Freesha Credit Bureau was located on the second floor of an old multi-purpose building in Sakuragaoka. At this hour, the 20 or so desks in this room were mostly empty, but that didn't mean that things weren't busy. Research agencies like Freesia did a lot of work outside the office. It was precisely because they were busy that there was no one here. 3 people were having a serious discussion inside the empty office. In front of him was the CEO of Freesia, Mose Katsuko. Kunosato Mio was sitting further away from him, not even bothering to conceal her displeasure. It was clear she had no intention of being friendly with him.
もちろん信じないと言っているわけじゃない。あの病院にいろいろ妙な噂があることだって知っている。それにこうして生きた証人もいる
Shinjo
こ
looked
と
at
だ
the
し。
other person on the sofa. It was a tiny little girl.
あの子が本当に施設で被害者たちの世話を？
ああ、そうだ。
今彼女から事情は聞けそうかな。
やってみてもいいが、失望するだけかもしれないぞ。
え？
それがね。
私、山添うき。
お願いします。私、帰ります。あそこに返してください。
ずっとこの調子。帰りたいの一点張り。何を聞いたってろくに話してくれやしない。
百瀬さんが苦戦するのは
Shinjo stood up and dragged an office chair over to the sofa the girl was sitting on. He sat down as slowly as he could so as not to scare her, and looked at her at eye level.
山添うきくん?
How does he pronounce that? Oh, I can just... Oh. Yamazoe Uki-kun.
Yamazoe Uki-kun.
Uk. He tried to speak as softly as he could, but she still shivered at his voice.
怖がらなくていい。僕は
Hi Billy's Game 1. How you doing? Nice to see you. Dropping by the stream.
おまわりさん。
そうだ。だから安心していい。
おまわりさんなら助けてください。
もちろんだと思う。だから教えてほしいんだ。君を真っ暗な地下室に
Pretty
閉じ込
good.
めたの
Sorry I
は
haven't stopped by in a while. Oh, I haven't streamed in like a month. This is the first stream that I had in a month. So, sorry I haven't stopped by in a while.
私、あの人にさらわれてきたんです。だから助けてください。元の場所に
I'm
返して
trying
くだ
out
さい。
TikTok live streaming right now. What's interesting is that TikTok tells you, like, it'll periodically update to show you that a bunch of people have like swiped into the stream, and then it's I'm not sure that's very helpful because it does publicize it, which is not good for lurkers, I don't feel. It's interesting for me to see, but it's not like they're keeping like a running log that I can check. Gotta be more careful with my phone till I get a replacement screen protector. Yeah, I've messed up quite a few phones in my day. Yamazoe Uki looked at Kunosato for just an instant, and then looked back to Shinjo begging.
これで私も立派な誘拐犯だな。逮捕してみるか。
I mean, you are. She's probably in police custody, right? Even though she's not at she's not at the police station. She's still in custody. So, if anyone's kidnapped her, it's also the state. I took my screen protector off because I had a giant bubble in the corner because my aunt didn't put it on correctly, and no matter What? It couldn't be fixed and it was collecting dust under it? Oh, that sucks. I hate those giant bubbles. They're so irritating. I had to like that for a few years now and it was driving me mad. You really toughed it out for a few years. I would have done the same thing.
チャチャを入れないでくれ。なあ、ウキ君。何か勘違いしているようだけど、君は地下でひどいことをさせられてたんだ。だからこうして助け出されたんだよ。
ひどいことなんて何もありません。私はただ皆さんのお世話をしていただけです。それが私の仕事です。だから戻らないといけないんです。私がいないと。
Main reason why I finally took it out was because I couldn't see the time. It was obscuring the time? That sucks. Final straw. That explained why even a veteran like Momo-chan was having trouble. Shinjo looked at the two and shrugged.
参りましたね。
でしょ？
聞いた限りだと地下の環境はかなり劣悪ですよね。普通女の子がそんなところに帰りたいって思うもんですかね。
私ならごめんこむるわね。まあ、うちも仕事内容の劣悪さじゃ。
Before throwing it away, I tried to reapply it, but if anything, that made the bubble worse because I didn't have the things you use to apply a screen protector. That's so frustrating. I hope the next one is better. It doesn't develop a bubble so easily. So I gotta be careful till I get a replacement. I don't have a screen protector on my phone. I just have a case. Oh shoot. I have to confirm a therapy appointment. What the? Okay. Just give me 1 second. There. Though I will admit I dropped this thing before I got the case or the screen protector, and it's perfectly fine because I'm oddly lucky when it comes to that. Oh, I'm not lucky at all. Like, if it doesn't have a case, that phone is doomed. Mimosa chuckled. Oh, how fortunate. She wasn't being tortured, at least.
ちゃんと脳の検査をしないと断定はできないが、多分長年の軟禁生活で自分の境遇に疑問を抱かなくなってしまったんだろう。
Not the same as she is an abused child. Well, normally you would take the child to see a clinical psychologist, maybe a psychiatrist, some other medical professionals like doctors. But they're not doing that. So they're like, I just don't know what to do. Like, come on, there's no procedure? One of my old phones I had as a kid, I accidentally dropped it between the bed frame and the wall. Heard it between both like 3 times, and then the 4th time into the ground. When I got it back, it was perfectly fine, no case or anything. Oh my god, that is some amazing luck. Shinjo looked back at the girl, who now seemed as if she was about to cry, and started to scratch his head. As of now, the police had no reason to make a move on AH Tokyo General Hospital. None of the evidence he'd gathered had been acquired by legal means. He'd hoped that Yamazoe Uki's testimony would allow her to function as a whistleblower, but that was looking unlikely. Luck goes to 0. My phone's in a backpack? Wow! Out in the wild, it's fine, but safely inside a backpack, it's in danger? That's so backwards.
あ、そうだ。ウキ君、この少年を知ってるね。
Amazing. Shinjo took a smartphone out of his pocket. It was one he'd borrowed from the younger officers. He picked up Miyashiro Takuru's photo from the ones he'd taken of the people involved in the Hekiho Academy photo shoot.
彼のスマートフォンを君は拾ったはずだ。彼がそう。
その人なら何回か会いました。でも、そのスマートフォンって一体何ですか？
は？何？
その子ね、最近のものは何も知らないわよ。
Shinjo thought for a moment, then pointed to his own phone.
これがスマホだ。これと似たようなものを彼が落として君が拾った。
I remember taking a phone to school, not even my actual phone, but an old one I used to use that was given to me. The thing broke in the backpack. Oh my god! That sucks. She stared at the phone in his hands and then nodded softly.
やっぱりそうか。で、それをどうした？
落ちていた場所に
Put it back on the floor?
戻しました。
戻した？君が持って行ったんじゃなくて？
持ってなんていきません。なんだかわからないものは怖いです。
でも宮代君によればそのスマホから電話がかかってきたって言うんだ。
Oh yeah, and wasn't the voice on the other end of the phone the little girl's voice? What the fuck? What happened?
Huh? スマホというのはそうやって写真を見る機械じゃないんですか？電話もかけられるんですか
？Momose giggled a little. Shinjo glared at her, then turned the phone around and brought up a number from the address book. He tapped the number. The phone rang for a moment, and then an extremely irritated voice answered.
Hi. もしもし、有村ですけど。
Just called her as an example. Shinjo turned up the volume so Yamazo Uki could hear it, but she didn't seem to care.
そうですか。もしもし、一体何なんです？用がないなら切りますよ。私これからランチなんで。
いや、用ならあるんだ。しかも大事な用が。悪いんだけど、ちょっと力を貸して。
お断りします。
She's being so polite and rude.
ねえ、新庄さん。私ってあなたの恋人かなんかですか？何かっていうとすぐに電話して。
Ew.
いや、待て。別にそういうつもりじゃ。
ならストーカーってことでいいですね。
よくない。困ってるんだ。助けてくれよ。
うわ、出た。女の敵の決まり文句。それでお小遣いをせびったり、お金のために変なバイトをさせたりするんですよね。
He's within the grasp of a clever teenage girl's claws.
真面目に聞いてくれよ。大切な話なんだ。頼む。
Oh, she gives up. It's not that I like you or anything. Baka vibes. Yeah, she does give off tsundere vibes. I agree. Shinjo finally managed to quiet her down, and then told her about 8H Tokyo General Hospital and Yamazoe Uki. And then he asked Uki a few more detailed questions, this time so Arimura could hear her responses. So she can do her human lie detector thing over the phone too? She doesn't need to like see the person, it could just be voice? That's interesting. Also, hello Monday Green Tea, how you doing? Thanks for stopping by. And as a result...
どうだ、有村さん。
全部白ですよ。真っ白。
Glad to be here? Glad to be here too.
あと、今回の一連の事件についても本当に何にも知らないですね。その子が犯人と関係あるとか思ってます？だったら空振りもいいとこですよ。
そっか。
Shinjo's shoulders slumped. Whoa. Shinjo's shoulders slumped when he heard that. He saw that Kunosato's did too. She probably thought that she could learn a lot of what she wanted to know from Yamazawa Uki. Kunosato frowned and looked up at the ceiling.
有村さん、助かった。ありがとう。今度なんかご馳走するよ。
はあ？それってもしかしてデートに誘ってるつもりですか？
No, it's a thank you lunch.
未成年をデートになんて誘ったら警察クビだよ。
As you should.
またな。
He said, I'm not a pervert. I don't go after high schoolers. I'm one of the good ones.
またって、もうこういうのやめてくださいよ。何度言ったらわかるんです。
He ended the call before Arimura could say anything else. And finally, the room fell quiet. No one spoke for a while. The only sound was Yamazawa Uki mumbling, I want to go home, as she stared at her feet.
まあ、その子に関してはもう少しうちで預かることにするわ。
I recently watched an anime that had like an actual child voice actor, and it was refreshing. You don't hear that very often. It wasn't an adult putting on an accent. It was a full-on child. And they did a good job. Like, good on you.
って言っても、食事と寝る場所の提供くらいで大したことはできなさそうだけど。
Momose stood up and rolled her tired neck. There was an unhealthy popping sound.
それでも十分助かります。
あっちの方は一からやり直しか。
一からってことはないさ。地下施設の本格的な操作ができないか手を考えてみる。
なんとかなるの？正式な手続きを踏んだところでまたどこかから圧力がかかるわよ。
でしょうね。
でしょうねってあんた。
ま、そこら辺は適当に口実をでっち上げます。ダメならダメでやりようはあると思うんで。それにお天道様のもとにさらしてしまえばいくらなんでも無視はできないでしょうからね。
I see your game.
なんです？何かおかしなことを言いましたか？
似てきたじゃない？あの人に。
そいつは喜んでいいんですかね。
どうかしら。少なくとも。
That's Why would you say that? Why would you say that? That's like a curse. It's like you're cursing him. What, do you hate him? Oh yeah, we're on 4chan! Sorry, 8chan. Let's listen to some losers, shall we? Thread title is Tokyo. Newscaster Watabe murdered. Another copy of the New Generation Madness? Okay, first, OP. Name. Finance Milk Girl. Reproduction prohibited. Offgo at taboo.co.jp. Not the 5chan. The @channel. Posted on October 12th at 10:23 p.m. Popular online journalist Watabe Tomoaki was murdered on the afternoon of the 10th at a school in Shibuya. The police have become more convinced that the killer in this case is the same as the other murders that are patterned after the New Generation Madness 6 years ago. Watabe visited the school to talk to the students, coughed up sumo stickers, and died when he went on stage. Watabe's stomach was filled with large numbers of the mysterious sumo stickers, and it is believed that these are what choked him. As the sumo stickers are seen everywhere on the streets of Shibuya these days, they seem to think it will be impossible to track down where the killer found them. Watabe had previously pointed out the relationship between the sumo stickers and the other mysterious deaths that took place on the 7th, 19th, and 29th of last month. The police are assuming there is a connection there. And then a link to a news article citing their source, I believe. I'm not saying that word. I'm just gonna skip past that. In before, this is a viral marketing scheme by the sumo wrestler people. Obviously, the kids he was interviewing did it. Shut the fuck up! Anyway. If you guys want to see a sumo sticker that bad, look in the freaking mirror. Oh. Fuck you too, bitch.
There's a huge shadowy conspiracy involved in this. All the victims are people who tried to find out about the conspiracy. The ones behind it are also the ones behind the original New Generation madness. They also eliminated the person who designed the sumo stickers. I bet the kids he was going to talk to are in danger too.
So what? You're a sumo sticker truther? He's reading between the lines. God hath descended, Lamau. Question marks. Replying to 991. Look at your ID, dude. Wait. Who is... Oh, it says sumo at the end. Oh shit. That's a curse. If nothing else. Shut up! They are... Is this the same person? No, it is multiple people who think that this shit is so fucking funny. They keep spamming it. This thread's almost 1,000 posts long. Why do you guys like sumo so much? If this is post 1,000, I'm gonna win the next sumo tournament. Jesus Christ. Oh, I can scroll with just the scroll bar. It's pretty nice.
Buttai wo gokasu chikara. いわゆるテレキネシスと呼ばれるもの。それが先輩の力です。
僕の力。
さあ、念じてみてください。動けと心の中で。
念じる。
Come on.
心の中で。
動け。
動け。動け。動け。動け。動け。動け。動け。動け。動け。動け。動け。動けよ。
Woo!
わ、見て。
すっげー。
マジかよ。浮いてやがる。
動いた。
驚きました。これは私が思っていた以上の力かもしれません。
I mean, obviously, it is.
宮代拓。君の能力。
Why does this dialogue not feel real?
久野里さん。
これからはその能力を使って私の渋谷ニュースを手伝ってくれないか。
What happened to it? Sorry, I'm looking for my stream chat. My other one, and it's fucking gone. Where'd it go? Let me just... That's so weird. Where'd it go? Bitch left. It won't come back. That's not good. Oh, it's back now. Jesus, why'd it go? Anyway, I can continue now. Thank you for the look, Fornea. Yeah, this is definitely not real. It's too uncanny, like, they're joking me right now. He's having like a dream. That's the thing he truly wants. He just wants to help her with Shibuya news. Kisa. Wow.
はい、喜んで。
やったね、タク。
す
ごいじゃねえか、
宮代。
まあ、これくらい当然だよ。
タ
ク。
宮代。
The end.
タク。ねえ、タクったら。
I don't like the way that she said that. Now I'm scared.
これくらい大したこと。
Huh? Ah, he was having a dream. That was a weird dream. I had a weird dream the other day that... Nah, it's cause... Never mind. I'll keep that to myself. Some things you just keep to yourself. TMI. My room? Then, was that a dream just now? I looked at the clock. It was already well into afternoon and approaching evening. And we never knew. I remembered now. I'd met with Arimura and Konosato-san at Cafe LEX, and then came back here late last night, still confused. After that, I'd gone home and did some thinking. Then I did some research on the internet, and finally fell asleep around sunrise. That's why I was only getting up now.
たく、人が心配してきてやったのに気持ちよく寝てやがるんだもんな。
タクはのんきだね。
Twitch, 90-second ad break. I guess they were in his dream, so he just felt like it was normal for them to be there too. When he woke up. Surprised, I left out of bed.
なんだってご挨拶だな、君は。
みんなタクを心配して様子を見に来たんだよ。
心配？僕？なんで？
だって。
Wait.
ねえ。
Kazuki is here too? Where Kazuki at then, I guess. She's right there. It was a tiny room, but I only just realized that she was here a second ago.
ちょっとタク、そういう言い方はひどいよ。花ちゃんだってずっと気にしてたんだから。ね。
That was surprising. Katsuki was so worried about me that she'd come all the way out here. I figured no matter what happened, she'd still be in the club room playing ESO too.
Teka, 大げさなんだよ。そんなに心配しなくたって。
でもよ、結構いろんなことあったろ、昨日。
そうだよ。のんちゃんも気にしてたよ。
They told her? That's interesting.
うん。
まさか昨日のことベラベラ喋ったりしてないよな。
Rip. Now she knows everything that happened. She knows that they snuck into a hospital. Just rip. She's gonna be so mad. Sedika looks confused.
もしかして話したのか？例の能力のことも。
Oh, she also told her about that? That's amazing.
なんで言っちゃうんだよ。
だってのんちゃんには隠し事してもバレちゃうんだもん。
Yeah, Kurusu was pretty sharp, and I couldn't imagine a girl like Sedika being able to hide anything from her. I gave up and fell back into bed.
いけなかったかな。
Sedika looked apologetic as she fiddled with her ghetto froggy strap.
いや、いい。話しちゃったもんは仕方がない。
Knowing Kurusu, she was probably really upset now.
で、それでクルスはなんて？
ああ、私は今動けないから、代わりにあなたたちがタクのそばにいて
Always
あ
the
げ
big
てって。
sister, huh?
それだけか。あいつのことだからもっといろいろ言われただろ。危険なことするなとか、能力なんてバカなとかなんとか。
そんなことなかったよ。
だってあのクルスだぞ。それだけのはずないだろ。
それだけ。
だよな。
That's suspicious. I rubbed my eyes, still sleepy. Something didn't seem right.
ああ、そうだ。昼間新庄さんから電話あったぞ。お前が探してるスマホのことで。
I wonder what liking the TikTok stream does. Does it boost it or something? I'm just curious. Ito slapped his hands together as if he just remembered something important. I quickly stood up. That was one of my biggest concerns right now. I eagerly pressed Ito for more information. Shinjo-san had said he intended to spend the whole day getting information out of that Yamazawa Uki girl. Of course, I told him many times to ask about that phone, so he had probably got around to asking her. But the answer I got wasn't one I was expecting.
あの子は持ってない？
ああ、一度拾ったけどすぐに元の場所へ戻したそうだ。
そんな言い訳、新庄さんは信じたのか？
有村が確認したんだと。嘘はついてないって。
Which meant that she wasn't lying.
じゃあ、僕の携帯から伊藤に謎の着信があったの？
それも彼女は無関係だってさ。
Oh, that phone call happened the night before Watabe was murdered. When they were preparing for the school festival? I forgot that.
そっか。つまり、スマホを持ち去った犯人が別にいるって。
So people aren't doubting his account of what happened because they all experienced it. Then who had the phone in that picture? And how and why had they managed to use my phone to call us and threaten us?
とにかく宮代のスマホは引き続き捜索してくれるそうだ。だからさ、とりあえず新しいのを買ったらどうだ。
I felt like he read that really fast.
タクはね、やっぱり私たちの真ん中にいる部長なんだよ。だからね、タクと連絡取れなくて困ることはいっぱいあるんだ。 今日も一日中心配しちゃったし。あとのんちゃんもタクとお話ししたい時にすごく困るって言ってた。
I'm the leader.
そっか。
It felt kind of embarrassing, but I knew that only these guys would say something like that.
確かに今のままだと何かが起こった時にみんなと連絡を取り合うことができないな。わかった。早めに新しいスマホ手に
I
入れ
remember there being like, shoot, I just dropped a potato wedge. I remember there being a scene in Chaos Head Noah where he also has to go get a new phone, but he had a little sister that he went with. Where the fuck did it go? I hate when I drop something and then I can't find it. Especially if it's food, like, I don't want that to rot on the floor. What the fuck? It like disappeared. What is this, magic? Okay, well, might have to just look for it later. Hopefully I don't step on it. Seneca smiled happily.
で、昨日の話の続きなんだけどさ。いや、
続きってどの話の続きだ？
久野里さんの言ってた能力だよ。本当にありそうなのか？
ああ、それわからないな。ちょっと非科学的すぎるし。
でも最初に超能力がどうのって言い出したのは宮代じゃなかったっけ？
それは
お前には見えたんだよな。有村が出した剣みたいなの。
まあ見えるには見えたけど。
Arimura's sword. I think she called it a D sword. Definitely looked real.
そいつが見えたってことはやっぱお前は能力者ってことだろ？久野里さんもそう言ってたし。
伊藤、相変わらず久野里さんの言うことは信用するんだな。あれだけひどい目に遭わされたのに。
She treated him pretty badly in the basement of the hospital. Maybe he was into that?
おいおい、なんだよその目は。
How did you know that he was talking about that, dude?
いや、そういえばお前、クルスを怒らせるようなこともよく言うよな。あれもわざとじゃ。
うわぁ、しんちゃんって変態さんだったんだね。
やめろよお前ら。んなことより宮代の能
Less
力の
about
話をし
me,
てんだ。
more about him. Am I right? Ito dragged us back to the original topic. That was definitely suspicious.
いや、能力とか言われたって自分の意思で使えたことなんてないさ。ラブホテルとか病院の地下とか鍵を開けたのは僕の能力だって有村や久野里さんは言ってたけど。
It is hard to believe because we haven't actually seen that. We haven't seen like locks just like turn. We've just seen like the aftermath, really. The door to the hotel room might not have even been locked to begin with. And the others might all just be coincidence, right?
ちゃんと試してみたのか？
試す？
お、だってさ、やってみなきゃ使えるかどうかわかんねえだろ？
コツさえつかめば案外できるかもしれないもんね。
Even the normally disinterested Katsuki was staring at me with curiosity. It was rare to see her like this. Maybe she was interested in psychic powers and the occult?
そうだな。
それともタク、一人で試してみたりした？それでダメだったとか？だったらしょうがないけど。
違うよ。僕がそんなバカげたこと一人でやるわけ
Everyone's
ないだろ。
done a Kamehameha by themselves in like their room, right? Everyone's done that at least once. So why wouldn't he have tried to move things with his mind, knowing that it could happen? Everyone else does it because they want it to happen, okay? And I'm not just self-reporting that I've done this before. I just mean, it just makes sense. I lied. He did do it. Actually, last night I tried it and it hadn't worked.
じゃあやってみようよ。ね？いいじゃん。減るもんでもないし。
けどやるったってどうすれば。
やっぱ。
Well, in Chaos Head Noah, you need to like wait. No, because Harimura can detect lies without having her D sword out, so I tried that and it didn't work.
ほらほらタク、念じて念じ
て。念じるって何よ。
そうだな。例えばほら。
Just like in his dream. No, this was just like my dream. Love to protect the text.
わかったよ。やるよ。やってみる。けど期待はするなよ。
大丈夫大丈夫。5本。それでは挑戦していただきましょう。宮代拓くんです。
パチパチパチ。
パチパチ。
Suddenly, Setika stood up straight and gave me an introduction and a round of applause. I had no choice but to stand in front of the book and get ready. I raised both hands slowly and concentrated. Man, it didn't work. I stuck my hands out quickly. And then, the pages of the book slowly started to... Yeah. Why is he so out of breath? He really put his all into that.
チェー、なんだつまんねえの。
こらカズキ、人んちの壁を殴るな。
Setika opened one of my mountain views and smiled. I hadn't seen her take it from the refrigerator. I prefer mountain view over... What is it called? In Steins Gate? It's not Dr. Pepper. Let me Google that real quick. I desperately need to know. What do they call it again? Steins Gate. Dr. Pepper. DK Pepper. It's DK Pepper. Doc Pepper. Setika handed Ito the plastic bottle she was holding, and then took out 2 more from the fridge. She gave one to Kazuki. This isn't a charity, guys. You're not just my good old friends that I let have my food and precious mountain view. He is pretty stingy. It'd be really funny if like one of them just took the last one. That was 4 bottles in total. I'd have to go buy a new pack.
Thank you. で、何がいいんだよ。
ん？
さっき言ったろ。よかったねって。
ああ、うん。だってさ、もしもタクにそんな能力があったら、命を狙われるかもしれないってことでしょ？
あ、命を。
He didn't even think of that. It's true. After everyone left, Setika's words repeated again and again in my mind.
もしもタクにそんな能力があったら、命を狙われるかもしれないってことでしょ?
There was a chance that all of the victims of these murders, they were now calling them the return of the new gen madness, had psychic powers. That was the conclusion I'd reached as well. If I had the power that Kunosato-san and Arimura said I did, I could become a victim too. And Arimura had told me before.
あなた、殺されますよ。宮代拓先輩。
殺される?
What the hell was going on? Normally, I'd be excited that my theory about psychic powers had been proven correct. But instead, why did I have to start worrying that they'd come after me? I just realized I didn't post on Threads that I was going live. I posted that I was going to go live earlier. So at least the the Twitch link works. For one thing, I couldn't use any psychic powers. See? I tried and nothing moved. I focused and nothing started floating. I knew for a fact that I didn't have any powers. So even if other people said that I did... What if the killer mistakenly thought that I did? The same way Arimura and Kunosato-san did. In that case, even if they were wrong, my life would still be in danger. What was that sound? The door? Again? Was someone here? But the others had just left, and there was no one else who would come here. No way. Could it be someone who wanted to kill me? You've got to be kidding me. I can't use them. I don't have any powers. But despite my pleas, the door slowly opened. Ugh! Oh.
なんだ騒がしいなどうしたんだ
ゲンさん
おタク要はただいま帰ったぞ
なんだよ驚かさないでよ
I staggered back and sat down on the bed.
せっかく例のもの持ってきてやったってのにさては女子かと思って期待しておったね
そんなんじゃないよ
まあまあお前くらいの年なら誰でもあるこった
Did he bring another cool magazine? Oh, yeah. Gen-san tossed me an issue of Cool Cat Press and stuck out his hand. To be honest, I didn't feel like it, but...
500円でいいの
毎度ありこれで今日もうまいビールが飲めるってな
少しは貯金とかしたら
ばっかやろ男は酔い越しの金は持たねえってな
What?
いかたくお前も男ならケチケチすんじゃねえぞじゃないと女子には
わかったわかった今日はもう帰って
男ならとこら
I pushed Gensa out of the room and shut the door. The room became strangely silent once more. The occasional passing of a train seemed exceptionally loud, but when it was gone, the silence returned. Shibuya Station was very close, but once you got even a little bit away from it, it became like this. Normally, I loved the silence, but today I felt a little lonely. Don't look, audio bleed, revolving dead. Why are we going with that? I'm not saying that. They all had stupid names, but they were all brutal murders. And... I flipped open the new cool cap press to take my mind off it. The page read, "Polish your hidden talents to make girls love you." October 12th, 2015, Monday. Oh, okay. I feel like this is going to be extremely boring because the last time we were in this family's home, it was extremely boring.
いいっていいって。のの姉にはいつもいろいろ任せっきりなんだもん。私だってもう子供じゃないんだし、こういう時くらい頼ってよ。
Yui smiled as she finished disinfecting the wound and applying the gauze. Nona was a little surprised to see her smile look just like an adult. Yui and Yuto had come to the Aoba dorm at almost the same time as Nono and Takuru. At first, they were still young, and it took time for them to get used to life here, but now they were an indispensable part of life at the dorm. Of course, 6 years had passed now, so perhaps it was only natural. That's right, people can get used to anything. As Nono thought that to herself, she then thought about how long 6 years truly was, and softly patted Yui on the head.
どうしたの？ののね。なんでもない。大きくなったなって。何？急に。だからなんでもないんだって。ちょっと思っただけ。
And at the same time, she thought to herself, I had to protect this no matter what. The things that she built up over the last 6 years. Her family. And... The way Yui stood up when she talked was just like Nono did. It felt a little embarrassing to watch.
ごめん。それにしても、タクル兄もタクル兄だよね。痛がってるのの姉を置いてどっか行っちゃうなんて。口では文句ばっかり言ってても、タクル兄は本当は優しい人だって思ってたのにさ。そう言わないであげて、ユイ。タクルはタクルなりにいろいろあるのよ、きっと。いろいろって？それは。
Nono knew that Takuru didn't want to hurt her. Takuru was just struggling as hard as he could, against the circumstances he found himself in, against the world. However...
わからないけど、いろいろよ。いろいろ。
He still didn't realize that sometimes the only thing doing that brought... Whoops! He still didn't realize that sometimes the only thing doing that brought was sadness. They'd kept Takuru's past a secret for his own sake. There was nothing to be gained from digging up the awful truths of the past. Takuru knew that. So why...
とにかく、もうしばらく安静にしておくこと。これは父さんからの命令でもあるんだから。わかった？はいはい。返事は1回。はい、わかりました。
Yoroshi. Yui said the line that normally Kurusu would say, then left the room. Kurusu chuckled as she watched her go. And then she took her phone off the side table. A moment after she turned it on, the phone's wallpaper appeared. Oh, they have the same wallpaper! That's adorable. It was a photo of her family. Her, Dad, Yuto, Yui, and Takuru. with a blank expression on his face. It was one of her most important treasures. She stared at it for a long time, and then after a moment's hesitation, opened the photo gallery on the phone. There was Takuru, mixed in along with many of her other memories. He had the same flat look on his face, and it almost made her laugh out loud. And at the very bottom of the gallery was a picture dated a long, long time ago. It was taken 6 years ago, just before the earthquake. There were 3 children in the picture, Nono, Kawahara, and one other. Suddenly, she heard a knock at the door. She quickly hid the phone behind her back.
のの姉ちゃん、いい？何？お友達が来てるよ。お見舞いだって。友達？
Sedika softly opened the door and came inside.
元気？
元気だったらこうして寝て。
ああ、そっか。じゃあまたにするね。
冗談よ冗談。入って。
Sedika came inside, moving a little more carefully and softly than she usually did. She sat down next to the bed.
お茶とか持ってきた方がいい？
ああ、いいよ。お構いなく。
ありがとう、ゆうと。じゃあ。
Sedika smiled as she watched the door close.
何？
ゆうとくんもしっかりしてきたなって。
まだ甘えん坊だけどね。
Yuto was shy, particularly around people older than him, but he seemed to be okay with Sedika. Though that was probably because Sedika had been around Takuru for so long.
それで？ここに来た理由よ。
お見舞い。
怪我の具合なら電話でも話したでしょ。なのにわざわざ来るなんて。
やっぱのんちゃんにはかなわないな。
当たり前。で、どうしたの？
ちょっとね。のんちゃんの様子がおかしいなって思っ。
私が？
電話の声がね、元気がないなって。
何言ってるの？怪我してるんだから元気がないのは当たり前でしょ？
それはそうなんだけど、なんて言ったらいいかな。とにかく変だなって思ったの。だから来たの。
セリカ。
I guess I really can't fool you either, Nono thought to herself.
のんちゃん？どうしたの？具合悪い？
そうじゃない。そうじゃないの。ただ。
Nono hesitated for a moment, and then slowly took the phone out from behind her back. There was only one thought in her heart. I have to protect everyone. That was all. If she couldn't change things, they'd be put in danger. Takuru, her family, the rest of the newspaper club. So Nono made her decision. What she couldn't say until now. What she didn't say until now. She would tell everyone.
のんちゃん？
セリカ、言ってたわよね。例の病院の地下で、
Oops.
南
沢千里。
これ。
It was the picture Nono had been looking at a moment ago. There was Kurusu Nono, Kawahara Masashi, and one more child. Oh, it's the girl from those interludes. The mysterious one that has all the scars and the limp.
それではここでもう一度こちらの歴史シールがどういうものかを見てみましょう。まずこの歴史シールというものが最初に街中に貼られ始めたのは2007年頃だそうですが、果たして誰が何のために貼り始めたものなのか詳しいことは分かっていません。ただのいたずらだとも、あるいは宗教的呪術的な意味があるとも言われていますが、それも単なる噂の域を出ません。ただこの歴史シールが最近になって大量に貼られ始めたのには何らかのメッセージが込められているのではないかとインターネットなどでは話題になっているということですが、ここで若者のサブカルチャーなどに詳しいゲストの方を。
What was that?
誰が何のためにやってるのかわからないなんて気味悪いですよね。
I got a notification that I didn't see. Where is it? Huh. It's because I forgot to add something here, I guess. What is it? What was the notification? My bad. Oh well. It should be in my activity feed, actually. No? Okay.
この歴史シールと言われるものがデザイン的にどうであるかという点を考えてみますと、
Every channel I looked at was talking about the sumo stickers. That's bizarre. They're all only talking exclusively about this? That's not how news works. Oh, whoops. Okay. The world was talking about the sumo stickers a lot more than I expected them to. Everyone was getting excited over old news and old theories. But none of them had reached the same conclusion I had yet. Well, of course they hadn't. It was way too far-fetched. But a while ago, I'd been confident. I'd been sure of my theory. And Kurosato-san Arimura had confirmed it. I didn't believe it anymore. Or more specifically, I didn't want to believe it. Because if those powers existed, it meant that I might become a victim too. I might eat my own hand, or rip open my stomach and shove a speaker inside, or have my head ripped off, or get my stomach filled with pieces of paper with faces on them. I might meet the same end as all the others. Ugh. Ah, no. Sliced arm. A bloody stomach. A severed head falling off its neck. Eyes that wept blood, a wide open mouth, the sumo stickers pouring out of it. Yeah, that's nauseating. If that happened to me. That would be bad. That'd be real bad. No way! I don't want that! No!
ではもう一度実物をご覧いただきましょう。Oh
no! He's gonna have another delusion. Fuck. It's like a jump scare for him. Ah! A close-up of the sumo sticker appeared on the screen as the announcer spoke. No! The instant I saw it, I leapt up from my chair, hallucinating that all the nightmares I'd seen so far were being real booted and attacking me. I closed my eyes so I couldn't see the sticker.
一説によりますと、これはデザイン学校の学生が自己表現のために貼り始めたという話もありますが、どんな理由であれ迷惑行為であることに変わりはありません。
I fearfully opened my eyes and tried to catch my breath. The sticker on the screen was still staring at me with its creepy face, but nothing had happened to me. Ah, I'd seen the 11th Warshock image in the basement of the hospital. That was the real Stimo sticker, and it had a terrifying effect on me. But many of the stickers that were showing up around town were fakes, put up by people hoping to be a part of the latest fad. They had no effect at all on me. Oh, she was outside? I finally calmed down, so when I suddenly heard a loud voice next to me, I jumped up again. Daijoubu. I recognized the voice, but I still fearfully turned around. I suddenly felt so tired that I almost dropped straight to the ground, but I managed to stop myself. Aw, Takuru, you're loved. People love you. What? Seneca looked at me, worried. Seneca took a handkerchief out of her pocket and tried to wipe away my sweat. Oh, whoops. I grabbed the handkerchief from her and scrubbed the sweat off my forehead. I put the handkerchief in my pocket. Her face took on a much more serious expression than usual as she slowly began to talk. Seneca never took anything this seriously. It really must have been something important. She grinned and giggled a little, then grabbed the handkerchief out of my pocket. Not you being a pervert too. She squeezed her Ghetto Froggy strap to say goodbye, then spun around and left the RV. I watched her go until she was out of the park. As soon as she was gone, I tried to think. What could she want? Did it have something to do with what happened? The idea scared me a little, so I got ready as soon as I could and left the RV. I hurried down the usual route I took to Aoba dorm. But... What? What's wrong? What? What's different? There's not a Sumo sticker just hanging around, right? Something was different. Something wasn't the same as it had been before. Something was wrong. I didn't notice anything different when I came down here on the way home from school. So what was this strange, dissonant feeling? Oh! What? Oh! That's not good! Whoop! That's too many. That's too many of the real ones. The walls, the fence, the street lights. Stickers were staring at me from all directions. And all of them were real. Not one of them was fake. It was that eerie 11th Rorschach image. The scenery in front of me suddenly warped and twisted. I felt the Mountain View I just drank coming back up my throat, and I tried my hardest to keep it down.
Yamero!
No, even if Arimoto and Kurosato were right, and I did have some kind of power, it was only a tiny little power, which I couldn't master and wasn't even good for anything. What is this? Huh? What was that sound? Sounds like a cat in heat. No, wait. What? Is this the sound of a baby crying? But there shouldn't be any babies in this park. So what the hell is that sound? Immediately after I thought that, all the stickers that were staring at me smiled. And then slowly... Whoop! Slowly... What? I can't even do that. I can't replicate it. Their eyes... What? Whose eyes are those eyes? Open. Sono me dare no me? I ran as fast as I could, not caring where I went. I just needed to escape from the 11th Rorschach somehow. But... no matter where I went... no matter where I went... Here. And here. And here. There were so many of them. Were there really this many sumo stickers in Shibuya? How did I never notice before? No matter where I went, it was like they were following me. Give this dude an Oscar. I had no idea how long I'd been running from the phantoms of the sumo stickers, but no matter where I ran, the entire city of Shibuya was covered in them. And each time I saw one, I felt sick and dizzy, as if I was going to throw up. Add to that the exhaustion from running, and I was barely able to keep standing. Just when I'd reached the conclusion that there was nowhere left in Shibuya for me to rest anymore. I saw a silhouette crouched in an alley. It was a person clutching their arms to their tiny body. They looked like a stray cat. It was so different from the girl I was used to that I initially thought I just mistook her for someone I knew. But when she looked up, I realized that it actually was her. Harimura?
Harimura?
Miyashiro... senpai...
Oh, she's also running from the sumo stickers, because they're everywhere now? She's also trying to find shelter. Harimura pointed behind her, but didn't turn around. But that was enough to tell me what she was pointing at.
力士シールか。
そっか。先輩も先輩もひどい顔してる。ダメなんでしょあれ。
違う。僕は。
I didn't want to admit it. If I admitted it, that would mean that I had a special power like Arimura, and that my life would be in danger. That would mean that instead of going after the case, that would mean that instead of me going after the case would be coming after me.
なんだか急に数が増えたと思いません？
Harimura's voice was so soft that it was hard to hear her.
今テレビなんかでも話題になってるから、情弱どもまで寄ってたかって張りまくってるんだ、きっと。
しかも偽物だけじゃなくて本物のシールまで。迷惑です。
まったくだ。そういう連中はすぐに飽きるとは思うけど。
だといいんですけど。
とりあえず青葉院へ行こう。僕やクルスが育った養護施設だ。そこなら診察室があるから具合が悪くても休める。
はい、すみません。
立てるか？
それくらいはできます。
She forced herself to smile, then ignored my outstretched hand and stood up by herself. Getting into Aoba dorm was a miserable experience. I could feel the influence of the sumo stickers increasing with every step I took. Or so she said, but she didn't look good. And I wasn't in any position to be worrying about anyone else either. That was the one thought that drove me forward. But suddenly... Oh! She appeared before us. A woman. It was a woman with a strange presence. If we'd been on one of Shibuya's typically crowded streets, I doubt I ever would have noticed her. But on this empty street, she was impossible to miss. Her long hair covered most of her face, and because the streetlight was behind her, I couldn't read her expression at all. But I could see the strange, hungry light that shone from her eyes through the thick hair that otherwise concealed her features. It was a dark light, one that somehow brought a deeper darkness, not illumination. Arimura's voice was shaking. She'd realized how strange the woman was, too. And then... my eyes met hers. In the next instant... she laughed. Or so it seemed to me. Her laugh was empty, but at the same time somehow satisfied. It was a laugh like evil itself. It was like nothing I'd ever heard before in my life. And then in a raspy, unpleasant voice, she spoke. Yabai. Alarm bells went off inside my mind. My knees started to buckle. My instincts told me that she was dangerous. Arimura was staring at the woman, not moving a muscle. No, she probably couldn't move even if she wanted to. It was like we were paralyzed.
Senpai.
Arimura barely spaced out the words.
多分能力者です。
A psychic. I didn't want to admit it. But just looking at the woman in front of me was enough to dash all my hopes. This woman, her very existence was enough to make me believe.
Arimura.
なんですか？
I didn't know about any of the Gigalomaniacs' powers besides Arimura's. But from what I've seen so far, some of them were a lot more dangerous than the ability to tell when someone was telling the truth. There had to be more types. For instance, ones that could be used as weapons. And there was no doubt in my mind that this woman had that sort of power. It didn't matter whether I believed or not. How could I not have the information I needed at a time like this?
Arimura.
そんなの私にもわかりません。テレパシーなのか、プレコグニションなのか、クレアボヤンスなのか。
Arimura's eyes were fixed on a single point. She probably couldn't look away.
あの人の能力はもっと危険な、人に害を与える力だと。
The woman started sluggishly walking toward us. Slowly, slowly. I finally realized that the reason she seemed to be off balance as she walked was because she was dragging one of her legs. Maybe she'd injured it, or maybe it had never worked right to begin with. She approached us one step at a time, as if enjoying our fear. She took another step. A horrible smile was frozen on her face. Her eyes were looking straight at us, as if she didn't want to let her prey escape. But my body wouldn't move. My body had turned to stone, like I'd been stared at by Medusa. And then suddenly, the wind blew. The woman's long hair flew up, and I could see just a little bit of her face. Arimura gasped. The woman had been terribly burnt. Her face was covered in horrible burn scars. The smile disappeared from her face. Instead, it was replaced by rage. There was nothing there but a burning rage and the color of anger. She slowly brought her hands up, and then pushed them out toward us. Oh, she's the arsonist! I was not expecting her to do that. Arimura screamed and pulled my hand as hard as she could. A pillar of flame sprung up right where I was standing. There was a blast of heat and the awful stink of burning asphalt. A burning pain ran down through my cheek as the heat struck it. She waved her arm, and the next moment, the space in front of me was a sea of crimson flames. Arimura and I tried our best to get away from the fire. I knew that meant the ability to create fire. If I remembered right, it was a word created by a famous novelist. All over the world, there were historical records of unexplained fires breaking out for no clear reason. Spontaneous human combustion, where a human body would suddenly burst into flame, was one form those incidents took. Of course, spontaneous human combustion was considered pseudoscience, as most scientists believe those incidents were actually caused by static electricity or electromagnetic waves. And now, real pyrokinesis was happening right in front of me. The next thing I knew, the woman was stretching her hands out toward me. Woo! I rolled along the ground with Arimura at almost the exact same moment the fire exploded outward. The smell of burning hair stung my nostrils. We kept moving away, only barely dodging the burning flames. Pillar after pillar of fire appeared behind us. It looked like the flames had spread to a bike and some garbage that were lying by the roadside, but I didn't have time to check. The woman was getting closer, dragging her leg as she walked. I tried to grab her hand and run, but... A fire appeared right in front of us, and as we tried to dodge it, we both lost our balance and fell to the ground. The planter next to us was on fire. I looked up as the footsteps got closer and saw that the woman was right on top of us. That was what was going through my mind as I was lying there, frozen in terror. This wasn't an anime or a movie. This was reality. The pain from where I'd hit my leg when I fell, the pain from the burns, all these flames, the smell of melted asphalt, it was all real. Kunosato-san had said that the Gigalomaniacs' powers came from delusions. And not just any delusions. These delusions affected the brains of others, and through being shared, they became reality.
物理現象すらねじ曲げるんだよ。ギガロマニアックスの妄想と、それによって共通認識化された現実は。だからこそ、それはこの上なく危険なんだ。
Yes, and because of that, impossible pyrokinesis was happening right in front of me, and that power was going to kill me and Arimura. Delusional flames would become reality, and in that reality, we were going to be burnt to death. The woman slowly pointed her hands toward us. Maybe I was imagining it, but the air around me seemed to grow hotter. I don't want to die. I don't want to be roasted to death by these flames. No, I don't want to die. I don't... A bigger spiral of flame than any we'd seen before appeared before us. But at the same time... Oh? Something strange appeared in the corner of my eye. Frighteningly sharp, but also frighteningly fragile. Infinite and finite. Phantasmal and real, like all the ugliness and beauty in the world have been compressed into one object. It was a D-sword. It was clearly a different shape than Arimura's, but still, I could see it. It looks like it has an eye in the middle. Nasty. Oh, it kind of looks like look. Doesn't it kind of look like Aaron, the Aaron Pokemon, or like a fish, like a barracuda? It looks like a lot of things, actually. A lot of things that make it look a little silly to me. But since I didn't know how to summon it, I just desperately struck the woman with every delusion I could muster. I imagined the sword slicing through her flames, and flung that image at her with my delusions. The burning fangs that threatened to engulf the two of us exploded. And then the fire danced like a snake. It flew in a straight line toward the woman who had created it. The fire turned into a spiral that leapt at her. She fell over in shock. Was that my power? While I hadn't been looking, my D-sword had vanished from my vision. Oh, Harimura suddenly fell silent. I turned to see what she was looking at. As the air rippled from the smoke and heat of the flames, the woman slowly stood back up. I gasped at the color of her eyes. The fire that had been there a moment ago was gone. The light that burned with hatred was gone. Now there was only ice. Her eyes were ice, frozen, emotionless, and piercing. Harimura and I couldn't move. Slowly, With an unsteady rhythm, the woman approached us. And then she stopped a few steps away. Smoke was rising off a garbage bin behind us. The planter next to us was making crackling noises from the heat. There was nowhere to run behind us, before us, or anywhere else. I couldn't even hear the bustle of the town, but the beating of my heart sounded even louder. The sound of my saliva running down my throat, the sound of my breathing, the sound of my blood flowing through my veins. All of those sounds were proof that I was still alive. But soon they would be gone. It would all disappear inside those burning flames. My legs shook. My eyes blurred with tears. I could barely speak, but the woman's expression didn't change. Not even a little. And as she raised her hand toward me, I closed my eyes. I'm about to... Huh? I slowly opened my eyes, and then the woman was gone. Are we safe? All the strength drained from my body and I collapsed to the ground. I thought I was a goner. I thought she would kill me for sure. No, until a moment ago, she was definitely going to kill me. I could tell from her eyes. They were cold without a trace of doubt, uncertainty, or hesitation. So why had she suddenly disappeared? I looked up and saw that Harimura was standing there, staring at the spot where the woman had disappeared.
Senpai.
どうしたんだ、有村。もしかしてまだ何か。
そうじゃないんです。ただ怖くて動けない。ここですか。
とりあえずここなら。
After the attack by the pyrokinetic woman, I'd finally gotten to the Aoba dorm with Arimura. I could probably get treatment for my burns here. The front door was locked. I'd been so busy running that I'd forgotten how late it was. I'd been given a key to the dorm, but I didn't usually carry it on me. But back when I'd lived here, there was a spare key hidden in the grounds. I decided to look for it. Fortunately, the key was right where I remembered it. Part of me thought it wasn't a good idea to leave it in the same place all the time, but today I was grateful for that. As I went into the exam room, Harimura stood hesitantly by the entrance and motioned for her to sit in the exam chair. Good. I'd gotten a little used to it, but I still didn't like the idea of touching her skin. I got some medicine, some cotton wool, and some adhesive bandages off the shelf and handed them to her. Since it was a clinic, a lot of the medicines were for use by professionals, but they were clearly labeled in written Japanese, so there was no way I could screw them up. Every time a new drug came in, it was Kurusu's job to make the label and stick it on. She always said that if she didn't, Yui, Yuto, and I might take some by accident. She'd always been the type to worry about things like that. I'd always been told to make sure to straighten my shoes up when I took them off, or not to put my socks in the laundry inside out. She'd made me help with a lot of the cooking too, didn't she? I shook my head, shocked that I was thinking about those things when something much more important was going on.
Miyashiro senpai wa...
こでクルス先輩たちと一緒に暮らしてるんですか？
The disinfectant must have stung, but because she was wincing.
暮らしてたんだよ。少し前まで。
じゃあ今は？
今は別の場所で一人で暮らしてる。
一人暮らしですか。いいですね。
まあね。
I hadn't really meant anything by it. That was just where the conversation was leading.
知りたいですか？
あ、いや、言いたくないならいいんだけど。
いいですよ、別にそれくらい。私は親戚の家で暮らしてます。実家ちょっと遠いので。
If she was jealous of me living alone, did that mean that she wasn't getting along with her relatives?
あ、言っておきますけど、別に親戚の家でいじめられてるとか、そういう昭和のドラマみたいなことはないですから。
え？
いえ、変に誤解されても嫌だなと思って。
別に誤解なんてしてない。
やっぱり思ってたんですね。
That's right. She had that power. Her knowing if I was telling the truth or not made things difficult. It was probably difficult for Arimoto herself to know what someone was really thinking, whether she wanted to or not. That sort of explained how she acted at school. Unless she kept things on a superficial level, acting like a goofball and telling jokes, she knew what everyone really felt and it would crush her.
Hi, 終わりました。先輩もどうぞ。
Since Arimoto seemed to have finished, I sat down in a chair to take care of my own injuries. And at the same time, the door in the back softly opened.
誰？タクル？
Oh no. I'd hoped that Kurusu would be asleep. Well, originally I'd been coming here to talk to her about something important, but after the pyrokinetics attack, I decided against it. If she saw me injured like this, she would have worried, so I planned to talk to her tomorrow instead.
何か音が聞こえるから気になって、こんな時間にどう
And
し
then she realized that there was another girl in the room.
有村さん？お邪魔してまーす。
違うんだ。
I wasn't out on some kind of weird late night date with her, and then we got into a big fight where both of us got hurt. But before I could say something which would probably only make her more suspicious, Kurusu saw us both and went pale.
二人とも怪我してるじゃない。
I knew this was coming. Her own injury hadn't healed yet, so when I saw how worried she looked, it pricked at my heart.
貸して。手当必要なんでしょ？いいから貸しなさい。
Kurusu grabbed the medicine I was carrying and started to patch me up.
いやいや、もう大丈夫っすよ。私はもう自分で。
そんな適当な処置じゃダメ。後になったらどうするの？でもは聞きません。わかったわね。
はい。
Kurusu's no-nonsense attitude was enough to overwhelm even Arimura. She sat still and let Kurusu do whatever she wanted. Once she was finished, she started on me.
で、何があったの？
Oh, well, you see, we were running through the streets because those sumo stickers were freaking us out. And then we ran into a pyrokinetic and she flung flames at us for a little while. Anyway, how are you? What was I supposed to tell her?
できるだけ驚かさないように伝えるべきなんだろうけれど。
私たち襲われたんです。
Arimura came straight out and told her while I was hesitating.
襲われた？はい。炎を操る力を持った女に。
Kurusu's expression started to cloud over.
だから有村、余計なこと。
I glared at her, but Arimura just shook her head.
こういう時は変に隠すとかえって嘘っぽくなるんですよ、先輩。相手にも余計な心配をかけます。
え？
つうか、宮代先輩の嘘って私の能力なんかなくても分かりやすいですし。
有村さんの言う通りだわ。ちゃんと話して。
I guess I didn't have a choice. I told Kurusu what had just happened, carefully choosing my words so as not to scare her. While I spoke, I had flashbacks to the terror that I felt during the attack. My voice started to shake, but I couldn't help that.
ということで、理由は僕たちにもわからないんだ。でも、あの女は間違いなく。
Everything I said sounded unrealistic even to me, but Kurusu intently listened to every word. She just sat there and listened. Arimura suddenly looked at me and spoke.
見えますか、それ。
Only then did I notice it. I'd been so busy talking that I hadn't noticed, but something had appeared in the corner of my eye. When I remembered the terror I felt during the attack, had it brought this back as well? There was no mistaking it. I whispered the words to myself and tried to visualize it more clearly. And then the hazy, indistinct image began to take shape. I reached out my hand toward the bizarre object, but...
なんだこれ、どういうことだ?
For some reason, I couldn't touch it.
タクル？何をしているの？
剣があるんだ、ここ。
剣？やっぱり出せるようになったんですね。
Arimura said.
自分のディソード。
自分の？
はい。それが先輩のディソードですよ。ディソード。
An illusory sword that could only be seen by those with the power to make delusions real.
僕はやっぱり能力者。
だからずっと言ってるじゃないですか。そうだ。
じゃあさっきの女、あれはやっぱり僕を。
だと思います。私を狙った可能性ももちろんありますけど。
What I'd been afraid of had become real. That woman, her eyes, her appearance, and her flames. The burn marks on our bodies told me that this wasn't a dream. It was real. At this rate, I would have been killed, like the victims in Don't Look and Revolving Dead. Why was this happening to me?
有村さん。
Kurusu suddenly interrupted our conversation.
なんで？
あなたの知っていること、全部私に教えて。
どうしてですか？
誰が何のためにこんな事件を起こしているのか調べるの。
おい。
Stunned, I leaned closer to Kurusu.
お前、事件には関わるなってずっと言って。
でももう遅いんでしょ？この先もタクルや有村さんが狙われるかもしれないのよね。
I noticed earlier that something seemed a little off about Kurusu. She told me so many times not to get involved in anything dangerous that I was sure when I told her what had happened tonight, she'd freak out. That was why even when I fled here, I still hadn't wanted to see her. But after I told her, instead of looking angry or raising her voice, her expression was firm and resolved.
ね、タクル。セリカから聞いてるかもしれないけど、話しておきたいことがあるの。実は私、あなたに言ってないことがあって。
I felt a sudden pain in my heart. Her words reminded me of last time, when I was told that my parents were murdered. When I found out that the family rule of the Aoba dorm, that nobody kept secrets from each other, didn't apply to me, just like everyone else. When I found out I was the one person who was different from the rest of my family. And I knew Kurusu remembered it too. She had almost brought herself to the verge of saying something, but her memories came back and stopped her. She kept opening and closing her mouth, only to finally fall silent. I almost never saw her like this.
クルス、僕なら大丈夫だ。
I balled my hands tightly into fists, as if I was trying to tell this to myself too.
今の僕はあの時とは違うよ。多分。だから聞かせてくれ。
Was I just imagining things? Or did Kurusu's eyes get a little wet? I couldn't bear to look at her, so I continued.
とにかく、言ってないことってのを聞かないと、何が何だかわかんないだろ。
そうね。そうよね。ごめんな
And
さい。
then she slowly started to speak. This is what she said.
今度の事件、私は無関係じゃないの。
I never thought she would say something like that. Kurusu was involved in the case? What did she even mean by that?
この前、あなたたちが忍び込んだっていう病院ね。
AH 東京総合病院。
ええ、その病院の地下のこと。私、前から知っていた。
I couldn't believe what I was hearing. It was so sudden and surprising that I couldn't even follow it. The basement under AH Tokyo General Hospital. She knew about that terrifying place? Why? How?
昔、千里がね。南沢千里のことよ。
南沢千里？
Oh! I had to stop myself from reaching out and grabbing her by the shoulders.
どうして彼女？
それは、その。
Kurusu paused and looked away, and then she showed me the phone in her hands. There was a picture on her phone. A happy, smiling boy and two girls. The picture was old, but I recognized one of the girls as Kurusu and the boy as Kawaharu-kun. And there was also a girl with them who had very gloomy eyes. It was without a doubt the girl whose data I'd seen in the facility, the one called Minamisawa Senji.
そうか。思い出した。南沢って名前、ど
It
こ
was
かで
during
聞
the
いたこと
culture
があると思ったん
festival.
だ。
Kawaharu-kun had said,
特に俺とあともう一人地震で死んじまったけど南沢ってやつはいつもクルスと一緒にいた3人でよくつるんでたんだよ。
川原くんが言ってた南沢って子が一緒だったって。
そう。この写真を撮った頃の私たちはいつも一緒に遊ん
Minamisawa
でいたのよ。
Senji, who had been subjected to those awful human experiments, used to be Kurusu's friend?
千里はね、毎週日曜日にあの病院に通っていたわ。
The back of my throat had gone dry and hurt terribly.
クルスはあそこで何が行われていたの
Kurusu
か。
bit her lip and slowly nodded.
当時子供だった私にはどうしようもなかったの。それが悔しくて悲しくて。
Kurusu looked down. Her face was twisted with pain as if she was being tortured. She was a girl with a strong sense of right and wrong. Knowing that her friend was being experimented on must have been terrible for her. Did Kurusu maybe go through the same trauma that I did?
でも今はもう子供じゃない。逃げるわけにはいかないわ。私も事件のことを知っておかなきゃいけない。そうじゃないと誰も守れない。
クルス。
有村さん、お願い。全部教えて。
Was that really the right thing to do? I'd put Kurusu in danger before, and now I was sending her down a dangerous path again.
仕方ないですね。
待ってくれ、有村。
I tried to stop Arimura, but Kurusu cut me off.
ねえタクル、今日あなたたちに怪我をさせたのが誰なのかそれはわからないわ。けどまた襲ってくる可能性があるんでしょ。何も知らないままじゃ私は何もしてあげられない。ただうろたえるだけで何もできない。そんなの嫌なのよ。だから全部聞かせて。
羨ましいですね。あ、いえ、なんでもないです。で、クルス先輩に話しちゃってもいいんですか？
I slowly nodded.
でも有村、クルスを巻き込む前に一つだけ聞いてもいいか？
私にですか？
僕はお前のことまだよくわからない。正直信じていいのかどうかも。
なるほど、そうでしょうね。
でもなんていうか、今は悪いやつじゃないような気がしてるんだ。だから聞いておきたいんだけど。
だから何をです？
お前は少なくとも僕らの敵じゃないんだよな。お前のせいで僕の大事な誰かが死んだりしないよな。
Arimura thought for a moment as she looked at me and Kurusu in turn. And then...
まあ、さっきは宮代先輩に助けてもらいましたし、恩をあだで返すってのもどうかと思うんで、誓っときます。私のことは先輩たちの味方だと思ってて問題ないですよ。
そっか。
おっと、ただしベタベタ慣れ合ったりするのとか大嫌いなんで、その辺はよろしく。
Then she smiled just a little. That was probably the first time I ever saw her genuinely smile. October 12th, 2015, Monday. Ah. 4 minutes left in the stream. Was then with Shinjo. Shinjo looked up at the huge white building and sighed loudly. A.H. Tokyo General Hospital. After Kurusu's report, he decided to visit himself. It was almost midnight. Visiting hours were long over and he didn't have an official warrant. He was here entirely of his own volition. But as he saw it, he was never getting a warrant the usual way, so this was his only shot. Normally, he'd want to slowly, painstakingly build up a case, but it seemed to him that searching this hospital was so important that there just wasn't enough time to spare.
久野里美代の話が本当であることをまず確かめる。そうすれば令状なんていくらでも出るようになるはずだ。
After his own investigations, he'd found that something strange had started happening here in 2007, 2 years before the earthquake. At the time, there was a treatment facility in Shibuya called the Arc Heart Medical Association that was involved with some kind of cult. On the surface, it was a mental health clinic staffed with talented doctors from university hospitals. There was no way to know what they'd actually been doing, but evidently some people had suspected they were brainwashing troubled patients. But suddenly, the facility was reborn as a hospital with a non-profit assisted living facility. And all the doctors that Arc Heart Medical had fired were rehired at A.H. Tokyo General Hospital. And then 6 years ago, there was a new generation madness. The 5th victim in that case? Takashi Fumio, the victim of the so-called numbskull case who had been kept alive for a week after his brain was removed, had worked at A.H. Tokyo General Hospital. There was too much that seemed suspicious. And then he shook his head. Do it your own way. That's what he would have said. Either way, Shinjo knew that if he could get proof of what was in this facility's basement, the case would take a whole different turn. Even if there was something big lurking in the shadows behind this case, if he presented incontrovertible proof, the police would have no choice but to act. It wasn't just about the facility after all. There were a lot of people involved too. The lives and dignity of the victims who'd been turned into test subjects also mattered. Every year, almost 100,000 people went missing. If some of them have been forced into these experiments, that was a big problem. His voice was somehow relaxed, yet driven, as he headed into the hospital. And that's it for the stream. Oh, no. Save. We ended at... I saved on 10 instead of 9. Their resistance 1. Okay. We're probably halfway through that chapter, so... Let me close the game now. Let's see. Do I have enough people for a raid? I can do a little tiny raid. Teeny tiny raid. Who do I want to raid? Let's go to, Maximum Moji is playing the first Descendant. Say hi to Maximum Moji. Thank you everyone for stopping by. I'll be streaming in a few hours. I was a teenage exocolonist at 6 p.m. See you there. Thank you for stream. Hello, Sacksmith. Thank you for stopping by. Bye-bye.